how to make long-distance relationship work. You just started seeing someone great. You get on, have fun together, and effects feel to be going well. The only problem? They just entered an offer for their dream job in another state. Or perhaps you've hit it off with someone online who happens to live on the other side of the country. Though it might feel scary or grueling, a long-distance relationship can succeed, and they do all the time. They just bear a bit of redundant consideration in work. Having texting and videotape conferencing at our fingertips, it appears that maintaining a long-distance relationship is easier than ever. Long-distance calls are no longer a luxury. The days when they demanded to be allotted are long gone. Long-distance couples don't have to depend on 3 p.m., postal delivery, staying for news that's at best 4 days old. Now we are no longer indeed in the days of staying for our favorite bones to check their mail when they get home from work. Instant messaging keeps us hooked to each other, indeed when we're out shopping, working, playing, watching a movie, and doing much more. Technology, still, cannot compensate for everything in a long-distance relationship, as anyone with a long-distance relationship will tell you. Numerous long-distance connections still feel emotionally delicate, despite the lack of regular physical propinquity. People frequently suppose long-distance connections will no way work. It may be discouraged by your family, and some of your stylish musketeers may tell you not to take it too seriously in case you end up agonized. Numerous effects aren't possible due to the redundant distance no bone. Can promise it'll be easy. Effects could get complicated, and you might feel lonely and sad at times. Still, the redundant distance also makes the simplest effects the sweetest. Being suitable to hold the other person's hand, eating together at the same table, feeling each other's touch, taking a walk together, smelling each other's hair. These small wishes could suddenly mean so much more in a long-distance relationship. So here are a few tips on how to make long-distance relationship work. But before starting, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share it with a friend if they just recently or in a long-distance relationship, so let us begin. 1. Stay in contact. Since you will not be seeing each other in person, it's important to establish and maintain an emotional connection as frequently as you can. Having a lot of long, in-depth exchanges is common for long-distance connections, and this is one of their positive sides. Still, your addresses do not always have to be like this. Frequent communication, no matter how minor, will show that you watch enough to put in the time and trouble into the relationship, and it's easier to keep up to date with each other's lives. If you allow large days at a time gaps to pass in, your everyday jests fade into the background, and you'll have to start from scratch every time you speak. Learn your mate's favored system for communication. Be sure to try a variety of technologies to see what works best for you both. You may try texting, emailing, or videotape, calling to keep up to date with little diurnal details of your lives. Work around your schedules. However, let your mate know in advance and try to stay in contact as stylish you can. If you know you are going to be too busy to communicate, however, remain flexible and concentrate on commodity of interest to you. If you are not as busy as your mate. 2. Visit one another in the places where you live. When you are in a long-distance relationship, it can be tempting to plan fun, instigative passages to see each other. Or it can feel practical to meet one another in the middle of the two places where you live. But make sure you visit one another where you each live also. Having passages to see one another in the locales you live is important so each person can see how the day-to-day for each other workshop. She said. 3. Be there indeed when you can't actually be there. Decades of exploration indicate the most satisfied connections are those in which each mate successfully responds to the other's emotional calls. Emotional calls are the thousands of bitsy attempts to connect with each other. It's one of the generalities explained in depth in the Marriage Health session of Lasting, the leading relationship health app. At the core of every emotional call, you are really asking each other one question: will you be there for me? Responding to each other's emotional calls can feel tricky within a long-distance relationship. You can't physically show up for each other's corner days or assure someone with a clinch. But that doesn't make this pivotal element of relationship success any less important. Rather, Long-distance couples may need to be more purposeful about responding to each other's attempts to connect. However, make that call a precedence, just as you would any work meeting or Kroger's appointment. If you've listed a time to talk with your partner, however, call or text book preemptively to find out how it went. If your mate has an important day, by weaving your mate's requirements into your day, you will demonstrate that you are there for them, no matter how far piecemeal you might be. 4. Be laggardly to judge. A funny thing happens to humans psychologically. When we are separated from one another, we are not suitable to see each other as we truly are. When we are piecemeal from one another, or have limited exposure to a person or event, or to make all feathers of hypotheticals or judgments that are frequently more overinflated or additionally wrong. This can manifest itself in colorful ways within a long-distance relationship. In some cases, people get insanely jealous or irrationally jealous because they perceive every casual social spin as potentially hanging to a relationship. For illustration, who's Don? Tell me who this Dan Joe is, and why is he writing on your Facebook wall, "Oh, he is your family? I didn't know you had a family. Why didn't you tell me you had a family? Are you hiding commodity from me? Okay, perhaps I wasn't hearkening when you told me. But I still don't want you hanging out with Dan. Got it?" In other cases, people come exorbitantly critical and neurotic to the point where every small thing that goes wrong is an implicit end to the relationship. So the power goes out, and their mate misses their nocturnal Skype call. This is it. The relationship's over. He has eventually forgotten about me. 5. Partake your timetables participating your timetables with each other, so you know what the other is over to each day, or creating a participated timetable for your relationship will help you feel connected and more incontinently in each other's lives. This is especially helpful when you are in different time zones and makes day 2-day communication that important smoother. Gray says, plus, it also helps you avoid transferring them a mischievous textbook during an unhappy time. 6. Make sure your pretensions and implicit finales are in the same ballpark. In general, exploration shows that long-distance connections are more satisfying and less stressful when they are understood to be temporary. This makes intuitive sense, as it's easier to keep your eye on the proverbial prize and work together to get through the difficulty of being piecemeal, rather than being hopeless and feeling like it will no way end. But what happens when one person is more okay with the status quo than the other? Or one person is more motivated to find a way to be physically together than the other bone is? If one mate views the separation as a temporary chain that will end in a major commitment engagement or moving in together for good. For case, while the other mate views the distance as a simple necessity that may have to be sustained for the long term. There's bound to be disunion. Talk continually about the prospects of exactly what the outgrowth of your separation will be and when. 7. Flashback that your mate is also a human. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, but can also make you romanticize your mate. While this can make your relationship stable, extreme idealization, allowing your mate is perfect, will make it more delicate to reunite with the factual person. Maintaining day-to-day communication about your everyday lives will help humanize your mate and come apprehensive of changes your mate might be going through. Conclusion: long-distance relationship takes work. Occasionally, it may indeed take a risk. After all, mortal beings are naturally wired to physically spend time with the people they watch about. But that's when you need to remind yourself of the numerous good reasons you chose to be in it. It does get hard. Long distance is no joke. So having the courage to remind yourself why you started off in the first place is veritably important when long distance starts taking its true risk. The topmost literacy in all this has been you don't need to find time. You need to make time for the other person. So this is all for today's video. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as we upload a video. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in next one.